Now is the screen visible to you? Hello, is the screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we are going to discuss the next and last type of the structure. Okay, present in the rock. आता रॉक मध्ये वेगवेगळे स्ट्रक्चर्स असतात जे आतापर्यंत आपण बघितले. आउटक्रॉप, स्ट्राइक, डीप, त्यानंतर फोल्ड, फॉल्ट, त्यानंतर अनकन्फॉर्मिटी मगाशी बघितलं. Now today now we are going to discuss the next type of the structure generally present in the all type of the rocks. Okay, and that structure is called as a joints. Okay, now first we will see what is the meaning of joints. Okay, so joints are the fractures in a rock along which there has been little or no displacement. Okay, so what is the joint? It is the fracture in the rock where you can't get the displacement or only small displacement in the rock is there. म्हणजे जॉईंट म्हणजे काय असते की रॉक मध्ये पडलेली एक फ्रॅक्चर असते ज्याला आपण मराठीमध्ये भेग किंवा फट असं सुद्धा म्हणू शकतो की जिथं तुम्हाला ब्लॉक्स तयार होतात. वन सिंगल रॉक कॅन बी कन्वर्टेड इन टू व्हेरियस ब्लॉक्स बट यू कांट गेट दी डिस्प्लेसमेंट. त्याच्यामध्ये डिस्प्लेसमेंट बघायला मिळत नाही आणि डिस्प्लेसमेंट असेलच तर ती एकदम लहान डिस्प्लेसमेंट असते. म्हणजे एकदम कमी डिस्टन्सवरती ब्लॉक थोडेसे मूव्ह झालेले तुम्हाला बघायला मिळतात. ओके, सो such a type of the fractures in the rocks are considered as a joints. Okay, now likewise other type of the structures like fold, fault, unconformity, there are different types of the joints are there and that types now we are going to discuss. Now joints are fracture or cracks which divide rock into parts or blocks and there is no relative displacement. Now here you can see that in the bottom diagram various joints are present in the rock. It occurs in all type of the rocks, means either it is igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic rocks. In all type of the rocks the joints are present. Okay, they are likely cleavage in minerals. Okay, now we will see how the process of formation of joints. Okay, now why the joints are formed in the rock. Now look at here in this block. This is the one rock block. Now when pressure is applied from different direction, due to that pressure these cracks are developed or the fractures are developed within that rock and that cracks or fractures are considered as a joint. Okay, so when the pressure is applied from opposite direction the cracked joints are developed in any direction. But when such a type of the pressure is there, okay, when the block having the pressure in opposite direction from central point, so parallel type of the sets of the joints are developed. All the when you look in this rock the joints or the fractures are more or less parallel to each other. Okay, so this first type of the forces is considered as a compression forces. This type of the forces is considered as a tensional forces. Okay, now we are going to discuss the classification of joints, that is the types of the joints. Now in the classification of joints or in the types of the joints, the joints are classified into various categories depending on the factor. First one is the spatial relationship, second one is the geometrical classification, and third one is the genesis classification of the joints. Okay, now depending on spatial relationship the joints are classified as systematic and non-systematic. Okay, systematic joints and non-systematic joints depending on special relationship. Now, what will be the meaning of these two words, systematic and non-systematic joints? Can anybody tell me what will be the meaning of systematic and unsystematic, that is non-systematic joints? काय डिफरन्स असेल याच्यामध्ये? What will be the difference between systematic and non-systematic joints? So just wait, I will show you. Now first we will discuss these two types, systematic and non-systematic. Okay. Now non-systematic joint, or it is also considered as a irregular joints. Irregular means the orientation, spacing, direction in any direction. ओके, म्हणजे नॉन सिस्टमॅटिक या ठिकाणी जर बघितलं तर तुम्हाला दिस ब्लॉक विच शोज दी सिस्टमॅटिक जॉइंट्स. ओके, दिस ब्लॉक शोज दी सिस्टमॅटिक जॉइंट and this block which I have marked here in the red color, it shows the non-systematic joints. Now what you seen here in both these blocks, in systematic and non-systematic joints, what is the difference in the joints? In systematic joints are more or less in one single direction, and generally more or less they are parallel to each other. So such a type of the joints are considered as a systematic joints. And look carefully in the non-systematic joints, what you observe, that the joint direction is in any direction. कोणत्याही डायरेक्शन मध्ये ते डेव्हलप झालेले आहेत. The spacing between joints are not equal. When you look in the systematic joint, the spacing, that is distance between two joints, is more or less similar, but in the non-systematic joints, the spacing, direction, distances are not similar. Okay, so they are considered as a systematic joints or systematic or non-systematic joints. Now here the various images are there. Now here orthogonal joints is one type of the special type of the joints, orthogonal. Okay, now what is the meaning of orthogonal joints? The joints which shows two direction. Now here two direction sets are there. One direction is in the here in this vertical direction, and the second direction is in the horizontal direction. Okay, two directions are there for the joints. That's why the rock is converted into rectangular blocks. Okay, so here you can see the rock block from the top surface. The block is converted into such a rectangular block. Okay, so such a type of the joints are considered as a orthogonal joints. Now second one is the conjugate joint. Okay, conjugate. Now here when you look here, the exactly perpendicular joints are not present like a orthogonal joints. Now when you look in the orthogonal joints, two directions are perfectly perpendicular to each other. That's why the perfectly parallel opposite side joints are formed. Now here the angle is formed in between two directions. Now when you look here, just wait, I will show you here. Now here when you look here, this direction which I have marked here in the red color, and this direction, okay, the angles formed here, they are not 90 degree. Okay, So here the angles are not exactly 90 degree, they are different. Okay, so angles are generally 30 to 60 degree. Now here the angle which I have marked here in the yellow color, look at this angle, it is in between 30 to 60 degree, and the opposite angle is about I think it is 180 to 150 degree. Okay, so such a type of the joints are formed. Now look here, the joints are in this direction and the another joints are in this direction. They are not perfectly perpendicular to each other. Some angles are formed in between 30 to 60 degree. That's why it is considered as a conjugate type of the joints. And this one, which one perfectly perpendicular to each other, they are considered as a orthogonal joints. Now systematic joints. Okay, सिस्टमॅटिक जॉईंट्स. आता सिस्टमॅटिक जॉईंट्स मध्ये जर बघितलं तर त्यामध्ये रेग्युलरिटी तुम्हाला बघायला मिळते. ऑल दी जॉईंट्स आर मोर ऑर लेस पॅरलल टू इच अदर. स्पेसिंग बिटवीन टू जॉईंट्स इज मोर ऑर लेस सिमिलर. Okay, so such a type of the joints are considered as a systematic joints. Now based on geometric classification, based on geometric, आता आपण बघितलं ते क्लासिफिकेशन कशावरती होतं, स्पेशल रिलेशनशिप वरती होतं. दिस वन इज द फर्स्ट क्लासिफिकेशन which is on the special relationship. Now second one classification is on the geometry. Now depending on geometry, all the joints are classified as strike joint, deep joint and oblique joint. Strike, deep and oblique joint. Now we will see meaning of these three types, strike, deep and oblique joint. Now first we will discuss the meaning of strike joint. Simple ahe, the joints which are parallel to the strike of the rock. Strike direction काय आहे ते तुम्हाला माहित आहे. Deep joints which are parallel to the deep of the joint. Oblique joint, the joints which does not parallel to the strike or deep, they run oblique to strike and deep. Such a type of the joints are considered as a oblique joint. आता oblique joint म्हणजे काय की स्ट्राईकला सुद्धा पॅरलल नसतात आणि डीपला सुद्धा पॅरलल नसतात. अशा जॉईंट्सला काय म्हटलं जातं, ऑब्लिक जॉईंट म्हटलं जातं. आणि फोर्थ वन इज द बेडिंग जॉईंट. बेडिंग जॉईंट्स मीन्स दी जॉईंट्स विच पॅरलल टू दी बेडिंग प्लेन. आता बेडिंग प्लेन म्हणजे काय, तुम्हाला सेडिमेंटरी रॉक मध्ये मी सांगितलेलं आहे. बेडिंग प्लेन इज द जंक्शन बिटवीन टू बेड्स. दोन बेड्स किंवा दोन लेयर्सला सेपरेट करणारी जो बाउंड्री असते त्या बाउंड्रीला काय म्हटलं जातं, बेडिंग प्लेन म्हटलं जातं. आणि त्या बेडिंग प्लेनला पॅरलल असणाऱ्या ज्या जॉईंट्स असतात, दॅट जॉईंट्स आर कन्सिडर्ड ॲज ए बेडिंग जॉईंट्स. ओके, so here I will show you what is the meaning of strike joint. Okay, so here the diagram of which shows the strike deep, that is given. So this is the strike direction, this is the deep direction. Okay, because they are inclined. Okay, so this is the deep direction. So the joints which parallel to the deep, like this, suppose such a joints are formed which I have marked in the green color. These joints are considered as a deep joints because they are parallel to the deep direction. Now when the joints are parallel to the strike direction, like this, suppose these are the blue lines, blue joints which are parallel to the strike direction. That's why these blue type of the joints will considered as a strike joints. And third one is the oblique joints. Oblique joints means which does not parallel to the strike, which does not parallel to the strike or deep direction. Suppose the joints are formed in this direction which does not parallel to the strike and deep direction. That's why these orange type of the joints are considered as a oblique joints. Okay, so these three main types are there: strike, deep, and oblique joints. Now, based on genesis, now this classification is very important. Based on genesis, you have to remember two types of the joints. One is the columnar joints and second one is the sheet joints. Okay, based on genesis. Now, two types of the joints. One is the sheet joint and second one is the columnar joints. Now, sheet joints means, what is the meaning of sheet joints? Now here, these joints are considered as a sheet joint. Okay. Now here, look at the. I will show you exact joints. Now these are the joints. These are the joints in the rocks, and these joints are considered as a sheet joints. Now, can anybody told me the characters of these sheet joints? What will be the characters? What will be the properties of these sheet joints? काय प्रॉपर्टीज असतील शीट जॉईंटच्या? Look the orientation.
Parallel to each.
Exactly correct. The joints are parallel to each other. All the joints are more or less parallel to each other. अजून काय कॅरेक्टर असेल? Now look at, these are the some important points which are related with the sheet joints. Now in the sheet joints, they are more or less parallel to each other. Okay, that we have seen. These are more or less parallel to each other. Commonly follow topography. Now, what is the meaning of this sentence? Commonly follow topography. Suppose this is the topography. Topography means surface area. हा सरफेस एरिया आहे आणि यावरती जे रॉक तयार होतात त्यांच्यामध्ये जे जॉइंट्स असतात त्या कशा असतात, या टोपोग्राफीला पॅरलल असतात. जसा सरफेस असेल त्या डायरेक्शन मध्ये या जॉइंट्स तयार झालेले असतात. सो दिस इज द मिनिंग ऑफ कॉमनली फॉलो टोपोग्राफी. मीन्स इट इज पॅरलल टू दी सरफेस ऑफ दॅट रिजन. त्या रिजन मध्ये जसा सरफेस असेल त्या सरफेसला त्या पॅरलल असतात. ओके. नाउ दीज जॉइंट्स divide the rock into subplanar slabs. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of this third sentence? Divide the rock into subplanar slabs. Now, when you look here in these joints, all the rocks, this whole rock is divided into horizontal slabs like structure. असे horizontal thin slabs या ठिकाणी तयार झालेले आहेत आणि प्रत्येक स्लॅब या जॉइंट मुळे काय झालेला आहे, एकमेकापासून सेपरेट झालेला आहे. ओके. नाउ जॉइंट स्पेसिंग इनक्रीजेस विथ डेप्थ फ्रॉम ए फ्यू सेंटीमीटर नियर द सरफेस टू ए फ्यू मीटर. नाउ लुक द स्पेसिंग बिटवीन द जॉइंट्स फ्रॉम टॉप टू बॉटम. टॉप टू बॉटम जॉइंट्स मधलं जर स्पेसिंग तुम्ही बघितलं तर टॉपकडे स्पेसिंग कसं आहे, कमी आहे. Towards the top, the spacing between the joints is less, and look at the bottom, the spacing is larger. Okay. So when you look top to bottom, the top spacing is less and the bottom spacing, that is the thickness of the slabs, are increased towards the bottom. Maximum depth of observed occurrence is around 100 meters. Means surface पासून जर कन्सिडर केलं तर सरफेस पासून 100 मीटर वरती डेप्थ वरती किंवा 100 मीटर टॉप वरती सुद्धा या जॉईंट्स तुम्हाला त्या रॉक्स मध्ये बघायला मिळू शकतात. ओके, occurs in many different lithologies and climatic zones in different types of the lithology, means in different types of the rocks such a type of the joints are formed either in igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic type of the rock. Whichever, in all type of the lithologies, that is in all type of the rock, such a type of the joints are mainly present, but in the granitic rock such a type of the joints are common. Now, can have convex upward curvature. Convex upward curvature means such a type of the curvature is there. Convex upward, slightly convex upward curvature is there. Okay, so when you look this here also, slightly upward convex curvature is there. Okay, so when you look here, this is the curvature. Okay, slightly upward curvature is there. Now I will show you the another picture of this sheet joint. Okay, so this is again sheet joint. When you look here in this sheet joint, slightly upward curvature is there, convex curvature is there. Also called exfoliation joint. The another meaning for this sheet joint is the exfoliation joint. Okay, so this is the best picture of the sheet joint from the Bangalore city. When you visit Bangalore city, in the Bangalore city, different gardens are there in the Bangalore. One central garden is there. In that garden, such a small hill is there, and in that hill, such a type of the sheet joints are there. Now, next one is the mural joints. Okay, now this is the another type of the joints, mural joints. They are also they are mainly present in granite type of the rocks. Okay, now here three sets of the joints occur. Three sets are there. Okay, three sets are there. In all the sheet joint, we have seen only one set was there, only one set was there. But in mural type of the joints, three sets of the joints are there. Remember this regarding with the mural joint. This point is very important. Three direction sets are there. Okay. Now, due to these three type of the sets, the rock is divided into cubical blocks. Cubic blocks are formed. Okay. Now, how it is happen? Just wait, I will show you. So suppose this is the granite type of the rocks and three sets are there. Okay. Now, first set is in this vertical direction. Okay. Now, second set is in this direction. Okay. And the third set is in this direction. Okay, that's why the single this rock will converted into such a type of the blocks. Okay, such a cubic blocks are formed due to these joints. Three sets are there. That is three running direction of the blocks are there. That's why the whole one huge rock is converted into such a small blocks. These type of the joints are considered as a mural joint. Okay. And this one that we have discussed in igneous type of the rock. In igneous structure, we have seen the columnar structure. Okay. One huge huge columns are there in the rocks. These structures are considered as a columnar structure or columnar joints. Now, how they are formed, that we have discussed due to rapid cooling. When lava erupts on the earth surface, different cooling centers are developed, and around that cooling center, the stresses are developed. Due to that stresses, the lava is converted into polygonal or hexagonal blocks, and that are converted into the joints, and that joints are from top to bottom. That's why that lava is converted into this column-like structure, and it is considered as a columnar joints. Now here in the columnar joints, two direction of the joints are there. One is in the vertical direction. Okay, so just a minute, I will show you. One is in the vertical direction and another one is in the horizontal direction. Two directions are there. One is the vertical direction and another one is the horizontal direction. Okay, so this is the another type of the joints, that is the columnar joints. Now, importance of the civil engineering, importance of the joints. Why the joints are important from civil engineering point of view? There are some advantages, there are some disadvantages of the joints. Now, it is acts as a source of weakness and as pathway of leakage of water through rock. Okay, so this is the positive consideration, that is advantage. Now, what is meaning of this sentence? When any rock having the joints, then such a type of the rocks act as a good aquifer, because if the joints are present, it helps to movement of the movement for the groundwater from one place to another place. That's why the rocks with maximum joints act as a and good aquifer. Okay. Now, presence of joints leads to leakage of water in dams and reservoirs. Sometimes even leads to collapse. So it is the disadvantage of the joints. Now, when the joints are present at the dam or reservoir side, there are chances of leakage of water. That's why it is disadvantage for that location. Okay. Sometimes leakage problem is there. Sometimes the collapse of the collapse chances of the dams are there. That's why it is not advantageous for the dams and reservoirs. Now, in open cast mining, benches should be free from joints. Otherwise, it leads to collapse and leakage. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of open cast and benches? Now, when you look any mine, okay, just wait, I will sketch here. When you look any mine, okay, आता कोणतीही जर ओपन कास्ट माइन बघितलेली असेल तर अशी हा खूप मोठा सर्क्युलर एरिया असतो आणि असा हा डिप्रेशन मध्ये एक्सकॅव्हेशन केलेलं असतं. ओके, अँड डिफरंट बेंचेस आर फॉर्म्ड फॉर द ट्रान्सपोर्टेशन मध्ये असे स्टेप लाईक पॅटर्न मध्ये ही माइन एक्सकॅव्हेट केलेली असते. सो दिस स्टेप लाईक पॅटर्न इज कन्सिडर्ड ॲज ए बेंचेस, अँड इफ इन दिस बेंचेस दी जॉइंट्स आर फॉर्म, या बेंचेस मध्ये या रॉक्स मध्ये जर जॉइंट्स प्रेझेंट असतील तर या ठिकाणी हे बेंचेस कोलॅप्स होण्याचे चान्सेस या ठिकाणी मॅक्झिमम असतात. दॅट्स वाय इट इज ऑल्सो डिसएडव्हान्टेजेस इन दी मायनिंग सेक्टर. मायनिंग सेक्टर मध्ये जॉइंट्स असणं डिसएडव्हान्टेजेस असतात. ओके, नाउ इन ग्राउंड वॉटर इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन, particularly in hard rock terrain, jointed strata regions are generally considered as a probable sites for groundwater exploration that I have explained. In the groundwater exploration, if the joints are present in the rock, then it identified as a good aquifer site, because water can be easily moved from one place to another place. Now, it is very important in quarrying operations of the building and dimension stones. So, in the quarrying, मोठ्या ज्या खाणी असतात ज्याच्यातून आपण रॉकचे ब्लॉक सेपरेट करत असतो, म्हणजे ग्रानाइट असेल, त्यानंतर मार्बल क्वारीज असतील, अशा ठिकाणी त्या रॉक्स मध्ये जर जॉइंट्स प्रेझेंट असतील, देन इट कन्सिडर्ड ॲज ए ॲडव्हान्टेजेस, बिकॉज वी कॅन सेपरेट ईच ब्लॉक फ्रॉम अनदर ब्लॉक इझिली. Okay, so presence of orthogonal joints in granite will help in the economical profitable quarrying. म्हणजे ग्रॅनाइट मध्ये मगाशी तुम्हाला दाखवलेलं होतं की एक्झॅक्टली क्युबिकल ब्लॉक्स त्या ठिकाणी तयार होतात, मुरल जॉईंट्स मुळे, कारण 3 डायरेक्शन मध्ये जॉईंट्स त्या ठिकाणी प्रेझेंट असतात. दॅट्स वाय वी कॅन इझिली सेपरेट वन ब्लॉक फ्रॉम अनदर ब्लॉक. So it is advantageous from quarrying point of view. Okay, so in the tunnel excavation, if the joints are there, then it is considered as a disadvantageous, that we are going to see in the tunnel topic also. Tunnel topic मध्ये आपण ते डिस्कस करणारच आहे, but I will show you here. Suppose this is the tunnel. हा टनेल आपण या ठिकाणी एक्सकॅव्हेट केलेला आहे फ्रॉम this hill or mountain. या हिल आणि माउंटन मधून हा टनेल एक्सकॅव्हेट केलेला आहे. अँड इफ दॅट टनेल रॉक्स that mountain or hill rocks having such a type of the joints present there, then there is a leakage possibilities. The water can be come from these joints into that tunnel, and if the water entry is there in the tunnel, then it is not considered as the advantageous. There is a chances of the collapse of the roofs into that tunnel. That's why the joint along the tunnel side is not considered as a safe. So in the quarrying, in the quarrying granite, you can see such a type of the vertical joints are there, horizontal joints are there. That's why you can easily separate one block from another. So this is the perfectly cubic quarrying. Okay, cubic blocks are easily removed from one to another with the help of the natural joints. Okay, so this was regarding with the joints. Okay, in this joint you have to remember the types of joints and the importance of the joints. Joint चे importance आणि types तुम्हाला त्या ठिकाणी लक्षात ठेवा. Just wait. I have to share one video clip which is related with the joints. Okay, just wait. Now, how these joints are important in the quarrying. Quarrying मध्ये हे joints कसे important असतात, that I have to show you with one video. So natural joints are there. With that natural joints, the huge blocks are easily separated. without blasting, only with the help of excavator we can separate the huge block from each other with the help of natural vertical and horizontal joint. Another video is there. This is marble quarry. In the marble also various joints are present, and with the help of the joints, without blasting, we can separate the block from each other.
Vah gibi yattı.
So such a vertical and horizontal joints are present. So the rock blocks are easily quarrying, having the rectangular, sub-rectangular shape. With such a technique, we can easily separate rock blocks in the quarrying, and joints play an important role in quarrying activities. When you look here, very large block is there, and we can easily separate without blasting. Only with the help of machines and excavator, we can separate it. Okay. So here, this is related with the joints. Okay. So just a minute. So this was related with the different types of the joints and its importance. Okay, so the remaining part we will continue in the next week. Okay, next week मध्ये आपण next part घेऊया. Now in this week, in the next week, I'm going to conduct your practical on Wednesday. Okay, so be ready with the map PDF. मॅपच्या ज्या PDF तुम्हाला दिलेल्या आहेत त्या तुमच्या जवळ ठेवा. ऑन वेन्सडे आय एम गोइंग टू कंडक्ट दी नेक्स्ट प्रॅक्टिकल. ओके, सो यू कॅन लिव्ह नाव.